here so I can see comments. I'm going to keep refreshing the page until it shows up. So, hi. If you are watching live, comment live. And if you are watching the replay, comment replay so I can shout you out. And today we're going to be talking about the art of embodied delegation and 3 ways you can delegate tasks in your business to your virtual assistant, to your team, to freelancers, graphic designers, copywriters, you name it, and how to know which type to use to increase sales and your client experience, because there are different ways that we delegate depending on who we are delegating to. So, exciting stuff. Let's see as this pops up. Yes, it is here. Okay, cool. So I'm going to open it up on my phone so I can see comments. All right, so hi. My name is Amanda Renouf, and I am a Fractal COO and business operations coach for multi-6 and 7-figure entrepreneurs who are ready to scale their business and get the freedom they set out to get when they started. And I also have offers for, if you're under the 6-figure mark as well, so I can support that. So today I want to talk about delegation and how we delegate any type of task to any type of team member, and why we delegate in certain different ways depending on the team member. So for me, I've been behind the scenes of multiple 7-figure businesses, and typically one of the first things that happens when I come on as a Fractal COO is a cleanup stage, right? So it's typically within the first month. We work very fast, like me and my agency. So it's typically within the first month we're doing a massive cleanup. So what that looks like is making sure they're in the right project management software, making sure that people can find things, making sure that the right butts are in the right seats. So I'm interviewing different team members and just kind of moving things around to get it functional. And then once we have things functional, then we go into a precision stage where it's getting things really tight. So making sure that things are getting done correctly, things are getting done, seamlessly. And within a 6-month period, my clients are able to go from overwhelmed, chaotic business back end, oh my gosh, everything is all over the place, not sure how to delegate, to a proven capacity ecosystem that is running their business. And regardless of who is on their team, they have things SOP'd out so that they can easily redelegate or reassign tasks and have the right butts in the right seats. So something that I've learned from this experience from being on multiple teams is there is an embodiment to delegating. There is an embodiment to how we communicate a task or how we communicate how we want something done. So drop a heart in the chat if you have ever hired a virtual assistant and no matter how you assign tasks, they just didn't get it. You could drop a heart and you're just I'm thinking I'm being clear. I'm thinking I'm being precise. I'm thinking it's so obvious how to do this task, right? That's typically what will happen when I'm talking with my clients about it, and they're getting frustrated because they need the support, they need the help. They've grown to a certain part in their business where the running of the business, the admin of their business feels a bit overwhelming. And so they start to bring on team, right? They've automated all they can automate, but there's still work that needs to happen manually. So they start to bring on team, but they don't know how to actually delegate to that team. So a lot of times they'll bring on, trying to look for that unicorn virtual assistant, right? So you'll hop into different Facebook groups looking for a unicorn virtual assistant that can do all these things. And then whoever they hire, they probably hire based off of personality and if it aligns and vice versa. And then they get into Slack or Voxer, and there's just this miscommunication that might happen where they might feel frustrated that they have to film a bunch of looms or like really walk the team member through like how to do things. And it feels like they're spending more time training their virtual assistant than actually getting the support that they thought they were going to get when they hired them. So what this shows up as is actually an opportunity to get embodied in delegation. Delegation is a skill set. So I'm going to repeat that. Delegation is a skill set. It's something that you can learn. It's something that you can get embodied in. And I'm going to walk you through on this Facebook Live the 3 types of delegation and who to delegate to with those types. So drop a heart in the chat if you're excited to learn about delegation because it's so much fun. Okay, so the first one is essence. So essence is where you kind of share your vision for what you want created, and that's it. So essence is typically where a lot of entrepreneurs, coaches, healers will start out when they are first delegating. So they'll delegate essence style, meaning like, hey, I have a vision for my graphics to look like this, or hey, I have a vision for my sales pages to look like this, or hey, like I would love to have a funnel that does XYZ. And that's great. Essence is actually perfect if you hired an expert. I'm going to repeat that. Essence is actually perfect if you hired an expert. So if you hired an expert graphic designer, if you hired an expert copywriter, if you hired like an expert funnel builder, right? Someone who is self-led in their field, comes with their own background, foundational background on the area that they're working on, and is actually coming in to co-create with you. And so this type of hire typically costs more and typically comes with a different title than a virtual assistant. Yes, there are virtual assistant unicorns out there, but that's kind of doing like needle in a haystack with your team support versus just jumping into expert support if your delegation style is essence. And so essence is fine if you are busy, if you are scaling. It's typically, I would say, multi 6, 7-figure. You want to start, maybe even more so 7-figure. You want to start bringing on support team that you can delegate essence style, because as you grow and expand your business, you are also energetically holding the container of your business. And so there's more and more for you to hold. And it gets to a point where it gets like near impossible for you to be in the details in every single department in your business, especially as you grow with team. So like there's so many questions, right, that comes up that you want to start having like experts that can own different roles, that can own different departments. And so essence has its time and its place, right? That's when you fully step into your visionary CEO role. But when you are first starting out, if you want to keep profit margin, if you want to if you're dealing with like tighter budgets, if you are first learning how to scale and delegate and get team support, I wouldn't recommend delegating essence style, because what ends up happening a lot of times is essence style is where you actually, if you don't have the right support in place that can handle essence delegation, you'll start to have a chaotic business backend. So you'll start to have things go wrong. You'll start to have broken links. You'll start to have, frustration. You'll start to have like, that's not exactly how I envisioned it. That's not the thing. Like it can create a lot of stress if you do not have the right expert in place to who you are delegating. So I think of essence delegation in terms of like, you just hired an industry leader or you just hired an expert in that space. So you can just share your vision and then they can go run with it, build it, create it, and it ends up better than what you could have built yourself, right? You hired the expert. Next on the list is framework. So framework is like my favorite. So I delegate to framework typically to like tech VAs will delegate framework wise. You can delegate framework wise to experts. You could delegate framework wise to anybody on your team that is a strategist, right? Someone who is a great problem solver, someone who, you know, you can assign a task and they'll like figure it out type. And it helps you get more exactly what you're looking for than essence. So essence is like fully putting like the creative choices, the creative like this is how I'm going to approach the task in the hands of that team member. So essence is best for a fractal COO, essence is best for a CMO, essence is best for like a CFO, someone who is in a chief or director role in your business. That's how you would assign essence tasks. Framework tasks is kind of like in the middle. So framework is someone you might like a copywriter, graphic designer, someone who is more like a freelancer who still has like a foundational background of the skill set that it takes to do the task, but you are sharing specifically details around how you like things done. So you're sharing more of your preference to kind of co-create as you meet in the middle. And so how I do frameworks tasks is through task briefs. So task briefs are where I like write a quick paragraph around like what needs to be done. So I give kind of general direction on like how I want it set up, general direction on like how to navigate some blocks that might come up when they're doing the task, general direction around like uh, certain details that I want in it. It's typically just like one paragraph where I kind of describe the task, but I still give them like room to make their own individual decisions outside of like the details that I care about. So I'll repeat that. You still give them room to make their own decisions outside of the details that you care about. And so this like is good for someone who, like I shared, like graphic designer, copywriter, someone who has experience in their field, but might not be like the industry leader type, like who you can just hand it off and they'll like come back with like something 10 times better without any type of direction. So framework is good, in my opinion, for assigning to like problem solvers on your team, people who are really great at strategy, people who can run with things very easily without a lot of hand holding. And how I kind of like break things down in my own business to make it like simpler is I'll assign a framework task to one of my team members who's more of a strategist, and she'll like kind of build out the task, and then we'll create an SOP based off of how she did it. I'll like review the SOP, like update it, tweak it to make it 10 times more efficient. And then we turn that into a recurring task that we'll then assign to the next type, which is technical. So the third type of delegating is called technical. And what this is if you've ever been on, say, like Kajabi's website or ClickFunnels website, and you type in like their help desk, they'll have technical SOPs around how things are done. And I typically recommend, so like when I work with my Fractal COO clients over the 6-month period, I'm typically building out technical SOPs. So technical SOPs can be assigned to anyone. It is like the leggings, the one size fits all leggings of delegating. You can assign a technical SOP to anyone, whether it is someone who is just starting out in their career and are a beginner, or someone who's an industry leader expert. Technical SOPs are like this is how I want it exactly done, right? So essence is here's my vision, but do your thing. We'll co-create it together. Framework is here's my vision. Here are the parts that matter to me. Go co-create the rest. And then technical is here's my vision and here's how I want it exactly done. And so technical is the type that you assign to maybe a virtual assistant. So technical is the type that you assign to someone who is a beginner or newer in their space. Technical is the type that you assign to somebody who might not have like a huge digital marketing foundation or background or isn't an expert or industry leader. And they can literally follow a step by step technical SOP, technical step by step guide, and provide the same result that you're looking for. So I kind of like to look at technical SOPs like the Legos of business. So technical SOPs is if you've ever like created Legos, um, it's really kind of easy to create what's on the box, right? Because you're given a technical SOP around where each block goes. And it's the same with your business, where if there is, like, if we kind of go down the ladder of delegation, right, you might start off with delegating something like essence style or framework style, get it into technical SOP level, and then you end up having a much more stable business because as you grow and scale your business, it's less about like who is on each role and this expert or that expert, or like worrying about if somebody leaves for whatever reason. But you have a business where how things are done in your business, your preferences, your standards around how you like things done with clients, how you like things done on your sales pages, how you like things done across the board is technically written out to the T. So what this means is you have way more options in terms of who you can bring onto your team and still get the same quality of results that you and your team and your clients are used to. And so, like, my goal as a fractal COO or business operations mentor for any of my clients is to get their business to this level of stability where it's less about who they have on their team and it's more about having the right processes in place so that they have an indestructible business. So they have a business that is stable. So they have a business that no matter if somebody goes on vacation, no matter if somebody goes on sabbatical, no matter if somebody leaves for whatever reason, their business isn't shit out of luck. So a lot of times, like when I'll work with like 7-figure clients doing fractal COO work, they tend to have like this revolving door in terms, and sometimes they get caught up in the hire, fire, freak out cycle. So the hire, fire, freak out cycle is when you grow really fast, right? You get a huge client workload. Like maybe you just had a megawatt launch, you've signed a bunch of clients at once, and your business systems and your team support cannot handle that new client influx. So you are working like 10, 12-hour days. You're trying to like answer every client box or message. You're trying to like, figure out how you can delegate stuff to your VA super quickly. Like you're trying to figure out who you need to hire to just like get things off your plate. And so you're hiring really fast in a time when you're kind of distracted. And this can create the hire, fire, freak out cycle if you do not have the right systems in place so that when you hire any type of team member, whether it is an expert, whether it industry leader expert or a mid-level expert or a beginner, whoever you hire for, depending on the task or how it's delegated, like you have to have systems in place to support them supporting you. So you can have like the industry leader of all industry leaders, right? Say like you have Tony Robbins as your support coach, just like hypothetically, like he needs to come into a system around support coaching, right? How do you want your support coaches to show up for your clients? Because it is different for every single person. Like it's the same with hiring mentors, right? You got to really make sure it's an aligned fit and that their values match your values and vice versa. Because I remember when I was doing like done for you launch agency stuff, like I had clients who every single client wanted their sales page done differently. There was not one client who wanted it done the same way. Same with like their copy or their social media. Every single client had different emojis they used. Every single client had different ways they spaced out their posts. Like we're all unique. Like we're all different. And so of course, how we want things done in our business, how we're going to delegate, how we are embodied in our delegation is going to be different. And so that's something like I tell my clients a lot in any of my spaces, is to really get clear around like how you want things done, how you want your business to look like, put the right processes in place. And then it's so much easier to kind of hire from that space and just put the right butts in the right seats, so that as you grow and scale, because naturally, if you're in business, this is my 10th year in business, but like if you're in business, you're going to have a megawatt launch. I'm just going to repeat this over and over again. If you are in business and you stick with your business and you keep showing up over the years, there will be a year or multiple years where you have a megawatt launch, where you have a breakthrough year, where you have like growth beyond growth. And you might have already experienced it, right? You might have had like your biggest launch to date this year, or you might have had your biggest launch to date last year. And the worst experience is growing super fast and not being able to handle it. That is one of the like worst experiences in business. And so when you kind of get clear on these three different delegation styles and start to prepare your business for your next level of growth and who you would hire for each type, now like as you grow and expand, or if you grow super fast, like it's not a scary thing for you in your business because you and your team can easily handle it. Your business can easily handle it. Your business is set up to handle it. And so part of this embodiment around delegation is really having these three types like embodied within you in terms of knowing intuitively which one to use for which team member. And this is stuff that we cover inside of Capacity, the Mastermind. So I'm enrolling now for Capacity, and it is a phenomenal rolling evergreen business mastermind designed to help you create a profitable business that is beyond simple to run. And you get an amazing community of 10 phenomenal leaders who are on the journey with you. So as you are growing and scaling your business, as you are automating things, simplifying things, bringing on team, it's creating that really nourishing container so that you can grow and scale without the stress, the burnout, the overwhelm, the freakouts, the like, oh my gosh, like this is too much to handle. Instead, we're creating your business in a way that it becomes easier to handle and you have the inner capacity to hold it. So a question that I've gotten during this launch, and I'll kind of go through like FAQ questions that I've gotten and I'll start answering it on this live. So one of the questions I got was, is Capacity only systems? Like, am I going to come into this mastermind and we're just going to be building tech out? Is it like mindset focused? Like say like if you are wobbling in a launch, like can you get support around that? So this mastermind is actually way heavier on the mindset and energetic capacity. So yes, you get ready to use systems, templates, courses. I give you like in the moment, like task templates that you can copy paste and delegate out to any of your virtual assistants that you hire or any team members you hire. So you get that level of support. But majority of the work that we do inside of Capacity is the mindset inner work. It's the leadership, visionary CEO work to hold your next level. So say like if your next level is 30K months and you've been stalling out at 10, 12K months, it's the inner capacity work that we're going to be doing together for you to not only attract 30K, 50K months, but be able to hold it in a way where you're not burning out. You're not eating goldfish in between like your one-on-one calls and your mastermind calls and trying to hold it all together. But instead, like you have the right support in place where you feel very nourished and very relaxed as you're scaling and growing your business. And so bigger levels, bigger income goals become easier to attain, and not just attain, but to keep, because we are doing the inner capacity work alongside the simple systems and setting up work, which is fun. Like we literally had like the most fun, like 7-figure capacity, like micromind like last week, and so many goodies in that chat. If you want the link to the resources that were created in that chat, message me, I'll share the link with you. So that was a question that came up. Another question was, how big is the mastermind going to be, and how involved am I going to be in terms of knowing your business, giving business strategy, giving business direction in terms of hitting your income goals, in terms of hitting your business goals. So for this round, I've intentionally made the decision to only have 10 spots available for the mastermind during this launch. So the first group calls officially start January 8th, 2024. But if you sign up now, you get instant access to an early bird group chat where we can start working on your 2024 goals now. So we can start calling them in now. And what I love about keeping it small and intimate is, one, I love more small and intimate masterminds. Like, I love knowing who's in my mastermind. I love knowing who's their ideal client. What offers are they offering right now? What offers do they want to offer next? Like, what are their favorite launch styles? Like, what are their favorite ways to sell? Like, is there other ways that they've tried that haven't worked for them? Like, I want to know like all the nitty gritty details about you and your business, because that better helps me support you as we're hitting your 2024 goals. So in the vision planning group intensives, I'm going to walk you through annual and quarterly planning so that we can like start a nervous system friendly business in 2024. So we know exactly what projects and what launches or what sales promotions are going to help you hit your goals. So say like if you have a mastermind and you're like, I've been struggling to fill it, we can plan out the launches or the sales promotions that are going to help you hit your numbers in 2024. Or say like you're like, and getting really overwhelmed with managing client payments. Like if clients are late on payments or if clients need to change their cards or vice versa, we can build out a customer support system that your VA can easily manage solo without you having to jump in, that fully takes that off your brain so you have more creative space to do the work that only you can do. So I love the blend of the two. It's like getting my Fractal COO services group style. So I charge $10,000 per month for Fractal COO services, but inside of Capacity Mastermind, you get access to that strategy support that typically only 7-figure entrepreneurs get, but in a group mastermind. So it's not just mindset, it's not just strategy, but it's also business operations to make how you approach the task simpler for you and your team to manage. Because one of the biggest things that actually causes most entrepreneurs to quit isn't actually mindset, isn't actually strategy, it's business operations. It's how they are running their business is too overwhelming for them to handle. So I'm going to repeat that. One of the reasons why most entrepreneurs, coaches, healers quit their business is not because of mindset alone, is not because of strategy alone. It's because of business operations, and how their business is set up currently is not sustainable, meaning they cannot keep pushing through another year at the breakneck pace that they're going. So when you enter the mastermind, you're going to get support around getting your business in a peaceful pacing that is still profitable. So if that's something that excites you, if that's something that you're like, oh my gosh, this is the mastermind for me, I highly recommend signing up for Capacity. The link is in the comments below. If you have any questions at all about Capacity, my DMs are open. So you can private message me, ask me any questions about Capacity. We could go back and forth in terms of like what we can cover together in the space and if it's the right fit for you. And what I want to encourage you is Capacity is like perfect for you if you are feeling a little overwhelmed in terms of your workload and in terms of managing your business, right? If your business feels a little messy, it feels like there's too much going on, it feels like you're doing too many things manually. If you have like a virtual assistant or planning on hiring a virtual assistant, this is the mastermind for you. So I know sometimes like for some people like this year during the recession, some people have went into income dips or went into lower numbers than they typically like are averaging. So I don't want you to feel like, oh, I have to hit a certain number yearly to qualify for this mastermind. This mastermind is specifically for the entrepreneur who is not a business operations born mentor, right? This is a space for you to learn business operations, for you to step into the visionary CEO and to get the right support around you so you can hit your next income level, so you can hit your next stage of business without sacrificing your well-being. So if that excites you, private message me and I'll help you out. And I'm going to open up the chat. Let's see if there's any comments here. If you have any questions. Yes. Let me click. Okay, cool. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the chat and then I'll answer them. And if you are looking into other offers as well, so say like if you aren't ready for mastermind support, but you want one-on-one support, or if you want like done for you support, or like you want a different container, feel free to private message me as well. So I'm having some really awesome promotions this December that end in January. So if you want to lock in my current rates on any of my offers, whether that is done for you support or that is one-on-one, I highly recommend reaching out now. So I have people in my DMs that are asking about my different offerings. So just wanted to make sure that you knew about that. If you are looking at one-on-one support or done for you support as well, to message me because I have special rates for those and those spots will go quickly. So any questions at all, drop it in the comment section and super excited for you. All right.